Welcome makers! Today we're making Hawaiian style leis using grocery store flowers like carnations and roses. I'm going to show you 4 different combinations. You can use your creativity to create a custom look with flowers that are accessible to you. As we lead up to graduation season, we will be releasing weekly tutorials perfect for graduation and other special occasions, so make sure you're subscribed to our channel. The number one question I get asked about leis is, where do you get your flowers? Prior to focusing on leis, I worked in the wedding and event industry doing a variety of things, including floristry. So I have always purchased my tropical flowers through wholesale flower shops. I love tropical flowers and traditional leis, but a lot of my subscribers don't have access to tropical flowers or flower wholesalers. So I want to make sure that there are several of my tutorials that utilize flowers that are available to you. The first leis we are going to make will use a mix of some of the flowers and foliage you can consistently find at the grocery store. Here's what we're using today. We have Mini-Carnations. We will also talk about full-size carnations and do a lei later in this video. I'm cutting off the heads, and even the small buds can be utilized. We are also using hypericum berries, which we did a full video on last year. Same with full-size roses. We did a tutorial last year that used a dozen roses, but we'll demonstrate it in our mixed flower lei. Spray roses or mini roses are one of my favorites to use, which we will use later in this video. I am holding the rose with my left hand and gently removing the stem with my right hand, then separating the petals. We're going to use these leaves in 3 different ways. This is called Israeli Ruscus, and you can almost always find it in the growers' bunches at the grocery store. You can cut or tear the leaves from the stem. These are daisies. You can also use mums. We're going to cut them from the stem, and lastly we're going to use these green button palms. I'm using the needle I use for most of my leis. This is from Hobby Lobby and is called a long doll needle. It's almost 5 inches. You can also order a longer lei needle from Amazon. I will link both in the description box. The method we are using is lei kui. We will be piercing the flowers with the needle onto the string. For each of these flowers, I am piercing from the bottom of the flower through to the top. These leis can be made using one variety of flower. If you can't find enough of one flower to make the entire lei, you can do a mix of flowers. It may also be more cost-effective to do a mixed lei. What matters more than the type of flower used is the love and thought put into making and gifting a lei. We can make with what we have. As those of you who are subscribed to my channel know, I am Tongan, not Hawaiian. But as I do this video on a Hawaiian style lei, I feel a responsibility to talk a little bit about lei etiquette. Specifically, I want to talk about disposing of leis. You never want to throw away a lei. Flower leis should be returned to the earth. This can be done by hanging it on a tree, putting it in the ocean, or burning it and returning the ashes to the earth. I bring this up because to make lei, you want to use a 100% cotton string that is biodegradable. In this video, I use dental floss with the intention to remove the flowers from the string when finished with the lei. The first way I'm going to use my Israeli Ruscus leaves is to fold in each side and pierce it onto my needle. For some of the smaller leaves, I just folded the leaf in half. The first way I'm going to use the rose petals is to roll one petal and pierce it with my needle. As I add my petals, I'm facing them in different directions to create a star. The first way we used the Mini-Carnations was to pierce from the bottom up through the top. When we do a straight single pattern of flowers, it is called Flower Lei. Another way to use Mini-Carnations is to do them in a circle pattern. This is called Kui Poi Poi. We're going to pierce the carnation through the side of the calyx. Continue adding carnations on top, facing the flowers in a circle way to hide the green calyx and make the flowers look like one. This also works great with spray roses, and I'll show that with our last lei. The next way we're going to use our Israeli Ruscus leaves is to keep them flat and pierce them. I love the texture this adds to a lei. You can also roll or fold the leaves like we did with our rose petals and arrange them in a star shape. A second way to use rose petals is to leave them flat and pierce them onto the string. This makes a very beautiful lei. It will take more petals than rolling or folding them. To finish this lei, I'm going to repeat the pattern. If you need some inspiration on this style, I would recommend giving Leis by Leimomi a follow. She's one of my Instagram lei friends based out of Oregon and does this style beautifully. Here are our first two finished leis. Next, we are doing a single carnation lei. You can fluff out your carnation. I'm going to jump to the next lei to show that you can also open up your carnation by placing the calyx in between your thumb and index finger and rotating the flower to open it up more. I'm going to use about 50 carnations to make this lei. At my local grocery store, full-size carnations are 12 stems for $8 or $9. So a single carnation lei is going to cost about $35 to make. You can also check Costco or Sam's Club online to see if they have carnations in bulk to pre-order. It will be slightly cheaper and easier to find carnations if you need to make a few leis. Their online pricing is usually pretty close to what you would pay at a flower wholesaler. Using our needle and string, we're going to pierce through the bottom to the top like we did with the mini-carnations. You can also do the circular double pattern, the kui poi poi, with full-size carnations. If your carnations are large and fluffy, it will hide the green stem. You can also push the green stem into the head of the previous flower as you're stringing them on to help hide that green calyx. We are going to open up and add our carnations in the same way. I want my lei to be about 40 inches long. I love using spray roses in leis. You can use them in the single pattern by piercing from the bottom through the top of the flower, or add these in the circular pattern or kui poi poi by piercing them through the calyx at the base of the head of the flower. Next, I am adding in the Israeli Ruscus leaf rolled into the star shape. I am going to continue my pattern and tie off my string. Here is my finished lei. Thanks for watching.